August 22 is such a funny date in my life. It was for several years the climactic for some reason. Day on which my biggest handicaps and derbies were run in the turf I conducted as a child in Lowell. The racing marbles was also the August cool end of summer, when trees of starry night swished with a special richness outside my screen window, and when the sand of the bank got cool to the touch and little clamshells glistened therein, and across the face of the moon the shadow of Dr. Sachs flew. Mohegan Springs Racetrack was a special raw western Massachusetts misty track, with cheaper purses and older railbirds and hard boots and seasoned horses, and grooms from East Texas and Wyoming and old Arkansas. In the spring it ran the Mohican Derby, which was for plugs of age 3 usually, but the big cap of August was a hoi polloi event that had the best society of Boston and New York flocking. And it was then that the summer being over, the results of the race, the name of the winner would have an autumn flavor, like the flavor of the apples now begathered in the baskets of the valley, and the flavor of cider and of tragic finality. With the sun going down over the old stalls of Mohican on the last warm night, and now the moon shining sad-faced through the first iron and massed concentrates of fall cloud, and soon it will be cold and all done. Dreams of a kid in this whole world is nothing but a big sleep made of reawakened material, soon to reawake, but could be more beautiful. Excuse me, what could be more beautiful? Pardon me. To complete, cap, and tragedize my August 22nd, it was upon that date, the day Paris was liberated in 1944, that I was let out of jail for 10 hours to marry my first wife on a hot New York afternoon around Chambers Street, complete with best man detective with holstered gun. How far the cry from sad side pensive Ty Pouse with his Miggs, his carefully printed Mohegan Springs entries, his innocent room to the rugged evil-looking seaman in tow of a policeman being married in a judge's chamber because the DA thought the fiancée to be pregnant. Far cry, I was so degraded and level in that time that August month my father wouldn't even talk to me, let alone bail me out. Now the August moon shines through ragged new clouds that are not August cool but August cold, and fall is in the look of the firs as they silhouette to the far down lake at after dusk. The sky all snow silver and ice and breathing fog of frost. It will soon be over, fall in the Skagit Valley, but how I can ever forget even madder fall in the Merrimack Valley, where it would whip the silver oohing moon with slavers of cold mist, smelling of orchards and tar rooftops with night ink colors that smelled as rich as frankincense, wood smoke, leaf smoke, river rain, the smell of the cold on your knee pants, the smell of doors opening. The door of summers opened and let in brief glee fall with his apple smile. Behind him old sparkly winter hobbles. The tremendous secrecy of alleys between houses in Lowell on the first fall nights, as though amens were falling by the sisters in there. Indians in the mouths of trees, Indians in the soul of earth, Indians in the roots of trees, Indians in the clay, Indians in there. Something shoots by fast, no bird. Canoe paddles, moonlit lake, wolf on the hill, flower, loss. Woodpile, barn, horse, rail, fence, boy, ground, oil lamp, kitchen, farm, apples, pears, haunted houses, pines, wind, midnight, old blankets, attic, dust, fence, grass, tree trunk, path, old withered flowers, old corn husks, moon, colorated clouds of cloud, lights, stores, road, feet, shoes, voices, windows of stores, doors opening and closing, clothes, heat, candy, chill, thrill, mystery. As far as I can see, and as I am concerned, this so-called Forest Service is nothing but a front, on the one hand, a vague totalitarian governmental effort to restrict the use of the forest to people, telling them they can't camp here or piss there. It's illegal to do this, and you're allowed to do that. In the immemorial wilderness of Tao and the Golden Age and the millenniums of man. Secondly, it's a front for the lumber interests. The net result of the whole thing being, what with Scott Paper Tissue and such companies logging out these woods year after year with the cooperation of the Forest Service, which boasts so proudly of the number of board feet in the whole forest. As if I owned an inch of a board, although I can't piss here nor camp there. Result, net, is people all over the world are wiping their ass with the beautiful trees. As for lightning and fires, who, what American individual loses when a forest burns? And what did nature do about it for 1,000,000 years here up to now? Damn, unbelievable. And in that mood, I lie on my bunk in the moonlit night on my stomach and contemplate the bottomless horror of the world from that worst of all spots in the world, a set of streets in Richmond Hill, beyond Jamaica Avenue, just northwest of Richmond Hill Center, I'd guess, where one hot summer night when Ma, 1953, was visiting Nin in the South, I was walking. And suddenly, because completely depressed, almost to match the depression walk I had the night before my father died, and in those streets one winter night, I called Madeline Watson on the phone to make a date with her, to see if she was going to marry me, a kind of fit of madness like I'm subject to. I really am a madman, bum, and angel. Realizing that there is no place on earth where that bottomless horror can be dispelled. Madeline was surprised, scared, said she had a steady boyfriend. Must still be wondering these years later why I called or what's the matter with me. Or maybe she secretly loves me. I just saw her face in a vision. In the bed beside me, those tragic, beautiful, dark Italian lines of her face, so streakable of tears, so kissable, firm, lovely, like I like. Thinking even if I lived in New York, bottomless horror of pale-faced, pock-marked television actors and smorgasbords, wearing thin silver ties, and the uttermost dismality of all the windswept apartments of Riverside Drive, and the 80s where they always live, or cold January dawn on Fifth Avenue with the garbage cans all neatly lined, near the incinerators in the courtyard, cold, hopeless, in fact malicious-minded rows in the skies, above clawy trees of Central Park, no place to rest or warm up, because you ain't a millionaire, and even if you were, nobody'd care. Bottomless horror of the moon shining on Ross Lake, the firs that can't help you. Bottomless horror of Mexico City and the pine trees of the hospital grounds, and the overworked Indian children at the market stalls Saturday night awfully late. Bottomless horror of Lowell with the gypsies and empty stores on Middlesex Street, and the hopelessness stretching over that to the mainline rail of the B&M Railroad, cut by Princeton Boulevard, where trees that don't care for you grow by a river of no concern. Bottomless horror of Frisco, the streets of North Beach on a foggy Monday morning, and the don't care Italians buying cigars on the corner, or just staring, or old paranoid Negroes who take you to be insulting them, or even nutty intellectuals taking you to be an FBI man and avoiding you in the gruesome wind. The white houses with empty big windows, the telephones of hypocrites. Bottomless horror of North Carolina, the little red brick alleys after the movie on a winter night. The small towns of the South in January, in June. June Evans dead after a lifetime of irony. June Evans dead after a lifetime of irony is right. Her unknown grave leers at me in the moonlight, telling that all is right, right damnable. Right got rid of, bottomless horror of Chinatown at dawn when they slammed garbage pails and you pass drunk and disgusted and shamed, bottomless horror everywhere. I can picture Paris almost. The Pujadists pissing off the Kwai. Sad understanding is what compassion means. Sad understanding is what compassion means. I resign from the attempt to be happy. It's all discrimination anyway. You value this and devalue that and go up and down, but if you were like the void, you'd only stare into space, and in that space, though, you'd see stiff-necked people in their favorite various display-tory furs and armor sniffing and miffed on benches of this one same ferry boat to the other shore. You'd still be staring into space, for form is emptiness, and emptiness is form. Damn. I'll reread a little bit of that. Sad understanding is what compassion means. I resign from the attempt to be happy. It's all discrimination anyway. You value this and devalue that and go up and down, but if you were like the void, you'd only stare into space, and in that space, though, you'd see stiff-necked people in their favorite various display-tory furs and armor sniffing and miffed on benches of this one same ferry boat to the other shore. You'd still be staring into space, for form is emptiness and emptiness is form. Unbelievable. Unfucking believable. Really beautiful. Oh, man. O golden eternity, these simperers and your show of things. Take them and slave them to your truth that is forever true forever. Forgive me my human floppings. I think, therefore I die. I think, therefore I am born. Let me be void still. Like a happy child lost in a sudden dream, and when his buddy addresses him, he doesn't hear. His buddy nudges him, he doesn't move. Finally seeing the purity and truth of his trance, the buddy watches in wonder. You can never be that pure again and jump out of such trances with a happy gleam of love, being an angel in the dream. Fucking shit. A little interplay on the Lookout radio one morning brings a laugh and a memory. It's clean, early sunlight, 7 a.m., and you hear, "How 30, 10-8 for the day. How 30 clear." Meaning station number 30 is on the air for the day. Then How 32 also 10-8 for the day right after it. Then How 34, 10-8. Then How 33, 10-7 for 10 minutes. Off the air for 10 minutes. Afternoon, men. And said in that bright early morning wry voice of college boys, I see them on campuses in the mornings of September with their fresh cashmere sweaters and fresh books crossing dewy swords and making jokes like that. Their pearly faces and pristine teeth and smooth hair, you'd think youth were nothing but this kind of lark. And nowhere in the world any grubby bearded youths grumbling in wood shacks and hauling water with a flatulent comment. No, just fresh, sweet youngsters with fathers who are dentists and successful retired professors walking long-strided and light and glad across primordial lawns towards interesting dark shelves of college libraries. Ah, hell, who cares? When I was a college boy myself, I slept till 3 p.m. and set a new record at Columbia for cutting classes in one semester, and am still haunted by dreams of it where finally I've forgotten what classes they were and the identities of the professors, and instead I wander forlornly like a tourist among the ruins of the Colosseum or the Pyramid of the Moon, among vast 100-foot-high shelled, haunted, abandoned buildings that are too ornate and too ghostly to contain classes. Well, little alpine furs at 7 a.m. don't care about such things. They just exude dew. October is always a great time for me, knock on wood. That's why I always talk about it so much. The October of 1954 was a wild, quiet one. I remember the old corn cob. I started smoking that month, living in Richmond Hill with Ma. Staying up late at nights, writing one of my careful prose, deliberate prose attempts to delineate Lowell in its entirety. Brewing cafe au lait in the midnights with hot milk and Nescafe. Finally taking a bus trip to Lowell with my fragrant pipe. The way I strolled around those haunted streets of birth and boyhood, puffing on it. Eating red, firm Macintosh apples. Wearing my Japanese-made plaid shirt with the white and deep brown and deep orange designs. Under a pale blue jacket with my white crepusole shoes, black foam sole. Making all the Siberian drab residents of Centerville stare at me, making me realize that what was an ordinary outfit in New York was dazzling and even effeminate in Lowell, though my pants were just dumpy old brown corduroys. Yes, brown corduroys and red apples and my corncob pipe and big sack of tobacco, stuffed in pocket, not inhaling then, but just puffing, walking and kicking the gutter-deep leaves as of yore as I'd done it for October in Lowell. And those perfect nights in my Skid Row hotel room there, depot chambers near the old depot, with my complete Buddhist or rather reawakened understanding of this dream, this world. A nice October ending with the ride back to New York through leafy towns with white steeples and the old sere brown New England earth, and young, luscious college girls in front of the bus. Arriving Manhattan at 10 p.m. on a glittery Broadway, and I buy a pint of cheap wine, port, and walk and drink and sing, slugging in excavations on 52nd Street and indoors. Till on 3rd Avenue, who do I pass on the sidewalk but Estella, my old flame with a party of people, including her new husband, Harvey Marker, author of Naked and the Doomed. Let's see if that's a real person. So I just don't even look, but down street I turn just as they turn, curious lookings, and I dig the wildness of the New York streets, thinking, gloomy old Lowell, just as well we left it. Look how the people in New York are on a perpetual carnival and holiday and Saturday night of revel. What else do in this hopeless void? And I stride to Greenwich Village and go in the Montmartre Hepcat Bar, high and order a beer in the dim light full of Negro intellectuals and hipsters and junkies and musicians. Alan Eager. And next to me is a Negro kid with a beret who says to me, "What do you do?" "I am the greatest writer in America." "I am the greatest jazz pianist in America," says he. And we shake on it, drink to it. And at the piano he wangs me strange new chords, crazy atonal new chords, to old jazz tunes. Little Al, the waiter, pronounces him great. Outside it's October night in Manhattan. And on the waterfront wholesale markets there are barrels with fires left burning in them by the longshoremen, where I stop and warm my hands and take a nip, 2 nips from the bottle, and hear the boom of ships in the channel. And I look up, and there the same stars as over Lowell. October, old melancholy October, tender and loving and sad, and it will all tie up eventually into a perfect posy of love, I think, and I shall present it to Tathagata, my Lord, to God, saying, "Lord, thou didst exult, and praised be you for showing me how you did it. Lord, now I'm ready for more, and this time I won't whine. This time I'll keep my mind clear on the fact that it is thy empty forms, this world, the palpable thought of God." Up until that lightning storm, which was a dry one, the bolts hitting dry timber, followed only afterwards by rain that banked the fires a while, fires started popping up all over the wilderness. One on Baker River sends a big cloud of hazy smoke down Little Beaver Creek, just below me, making me mistakenly assume a fire there, but they calculate the way the valleys run and how the smoke drifted. Then, when during the lightning storm I'd seen a red glow behind Skagit Peak on my east, then no more. 4 days later, the airplane spots a burned out acre, but it is mostly dead, making a haze in Three Fools Creek. But then comes the big fire on Thunder Creek, which I can see 22 miles south of me, billowing smoke out of Ruby Ridge. A high southwest wind makes it rage from a 2-acre fire at 3 to an 18-acre fire at 5. The radio is wild. My own gentle district ranger, Gene O'Hara, keeps sighing over the radio at every new report. In Bellingham, they assemble 8 smoke jumpers to fly in and drop on the steep ridge. Our own Skagit crews are shifted from Big Beaver to the lake, a boat, and the long high trail to the Big Smoke. It's a sunny day with a high wind and lowest humidity of the year. This fire was at first mistakenly assumed by excitable Pat Garton on Crater to be closer to him than where it is, near Hoot Owl Pass, but sneering Jesuit Ned Gowdy on Sourdough verifies with the airplane the exact location, and so it is his fire. These guys, being forestry careerists, they are very religiously jealous of his and my fire, as though, "Gene, are you there?" says Howard on Lookout Mountain, relaying a message from the Skagit crew foreman, who was standing under the fire with a walkie-talkie, and the men staring at the steep, inaccessible slide it's on. "Almost perpendicular." "Ah, how for?" He says, "that you might get down from the top. It would probably be a rope job and couldn't pack in what you needed." "Okay," sighs O'Hara. "Tell him to stand by." "How 33 from 4? 33. Has McCarthy got out the airport yet?" McCarthy and the bigwig force supervisor are flying over the fire. 33 has to call the airport to see. "How 1 from 33? Repeats 4 times. "Back to how 4? I can't seem to get a hold of the airport." "Okay, thank you." But turns out McCarthy is in the Bellingham office or at home. Apparently not much concerned yet because it isn't his fire. Sighing O'Hara, sweet man, never a harsh word, unlike bossy cold-eyed Girk. I think if I should find a fire in this crucial hour, I should have to preamble my announcement with, "Hate to pile sorrows on you." Meanwhile, nature innocently burns. It's only nature burning nature. Myself, I sit eating my Kraft cheese noodle dinner and drinking strong black coffee and watching the smoke 22 miles away and listening to the radio. Only got 3 weeks to go and I'm off to Mexico. At 6 o'clock in the still hot sun but high wind, the plane sneaks up on me, calling me, "We're about to drop your batteries." I go out and wave. They wave back like Lindbergh in their monoplane and turn around and make a run over my ridge, dropping a miraculous bundle from heaven which whips out in a burlap parachute, and goes sailing, sailing far over the target, high wind. And as I watch it gulping, I see it's going to go clear over the ridge and down the 1,500-foot lightning gorge, but a lordly little fir captures the shrouds and the heavy bundle hangs on the cliffside. I put on my empty rucksack after finishing the dishes and hike down, find the stuff. Very heavy, put it in my rucksack, cutting shrouds and tapes and sweating and slipping in the pebbles. And with the rolled up parachute under my arm lugubriously, I labor on back up the ridge to my lovely little shack. In 2 minutes my sweat's gone and it's done. I look at the distant fires and distant mountains and see the little imaginary blossoms of sight discussed in the Surangama Sutra, whereby I know it's all an ephemeral dream of sensation. What earthly use to know this? What earthly use is anything?